friends, how are you guys doing? Christmas is here again, here again. So, but this is not Christmas yet. We're still in October. So today, in Olushala. So, I'm here to discuss with us my struggle with English language. How I struggle so much with English as a young girl, a teenager in high school, and how this was really tough for me. English as a language. Yeah. So while I was in high school, I suffered so much. I literally don't understand English. I can't comprehend. I can't even understand what is being taught. The subject is very challenging. It was a big struggle for me, and a lot of times I just wonder if I'll ever leave high school. And to be honest, I failed English woefully in my WAEC, NECO, GC. Guess what? It was F9 parallel in English. Terrible. And to think that you can really get admission into any school without you having English makes it really worse for me. So I had to go through I think they call it prelim program, I can't remember, in last Boteg. Tend to use that to it was very challenging, and it made studying quite hard for me, despite the fact that I was very good with maths. For the maths was literally like nothing. I love chemistry, especially the theory parts. Physics was excellent. But when it comes to objective, where they have to speak English, I'm crushing. Like, nah, I'm out. So I really struggled a lot with English, while I was in high school, I had no books to study, so it was really hard for me. My friends gave me their books to read, and the only thing on my head is, can I just pass my final exams? You understand? So it's a big struggle. And as a teenager, I couldn't tell anyone. I couldn't say my weaknesses to anyone. Also, I am a very slow learner. Like, if I'm talking to someone and they're trying to speak English, I'm like, stop, English. So, or I go like, sorry, can you explain again? So a lot of times when I try to question and ask different questions, when I'm listening to others, it oftentimes appear like I'm being interrogative, or I'm trying to know too much. But the truth is, I'm just struggling with comprehension, and I'm trying so hard to not misinterpret the information that is being passed. So I have to listen properly, understand the person truly, so I don't like miss their words for something else. And it's such a huge challenge. And now I would pass this to parents. Pay attention to your children. Because as I was growing, I realized that life became more harder and harder for me to open up to anyone, because literally everybody assumed that you should know. Everybody assumed that you should understand. And it becomes embarrassing to me when I had to ask, like, can you please repeat yourself? Can you please explain? Can you please? So it's more like, oh my God, what am I doing to myself? It was really hard. There was a time my daughter had issues at school, and the teachers were like crunching her, like, oh, this girl, she's performing 3 years below her grade level. She's this, she has learning disabilities. I'm like, no, don't do that to her. She would be fine. She doesn't have any learning disabilities. We're gonna help her. So I saw how she was fidgeting and how fearful she looks. It reminds me of who I used to be. I remember those days when they were teaching us English. There was a man my parents were courting with, and the man is I think he was a teacher, and he would make us memorize a book. And if they call you to come, you're in trouble. They're gonna, like, they use koboko. I don't know if you know koboko. So it's always a fearful environment for us. So for her, I called her, I told her, I said, hey girl, you're doing good. Just, you're trying your best. The teacher might not understand, but don't worry about them. Be very slow. It might be difficult to understand what they're teaching, but don't be hard on yourself. Don't rush it. So I discussed with her. I encouraged her. In fact, while I was talking to her, she was crying. And I hugged her. So I told auntie, who is their auntie, they have two aunties physically available then. And one took up English, the other took up math. And both of them were very intentional to help her, because me, I can help you with English. I don't even know. I can help her with English. So they helped her. And I think 2 years after, the teacher wrote a summary of how she had improved. And even me, myself, I cried. Because you just need to watch that child. Everything is not medication. Everything is not therapy. You just need to understand how a child is and their developmental stage. For me, I would say this. If you call me when I was 21 to come and face the audience, I am damn too scared. I can't even put words together. I don't know how to do it. So a lot of times I tend to be quite aggressive, just fight, and many times people look at me like I'm being rude. Because my growth as a teenager, as a young adult, was quite independent of every other thing. I was just by myself. So I've judged adults like nobody cares about you. Everybody just wants to put a law upon your life and put rules to guide you. And if you fail by that rules, you get punished. Do you understand? So it makes me being expressive or trusting anyone to tell them this is my struggle, because very difficult. It makes that very difficult. And I realized that most people around just want to see you perfect. So instead of me being perfect, I'm just rebellious in my head. Like, I don't care what you guys want me to be. I just don't want to be anything. I just want to be myself. So, and this is what society is all about. And if a child cannot trust their environment, it's a very big problem for them. So we need to pay attention to that. So I struggled so much. I dropped out of school while I was in Laspo Tech. And also, when I came back to Lagos, I had friends who love to study. Who, like all my friends, they call them Efiko. They are very intelligent. I'm also one of those, but one of them. But my head is running away from English, because I know when I get to that place where I'm being presented with English, I don't understand. I can't even understand it. Yeah, there's a point I really wanted to say, that right now, what I know now, I can tell you that a 20-year-old must have passed that stage today. Because me, my growth, my brain is very slow when it comes to understanding and comprehending words. But someone else who is like Dorcas, my sister, when she speaks some English, I'm like, oh, Mo, where did you learn all this English from? I'm like, at your age, I am marveled. Do you understand? So please, let's pay attention to that. So I said I struggled through school. My late husband did well. It was times he's always like trying to beat me up to it, not like beat, like when he speaks a lot of grammar, and I'm like, so I love it. I love to surround myself with people that would help me grow. I learn from people silently, unknown to them, because I feel like if anyone knows that you're learning from them, they tend to abuse you. That's my mind then. I think it's still my mind. So I just silently learn from people. When I see them, when I see someone who is very intelligent, who speaks good English, I try to associate with them talk with them more so I can grab words, grab their pattern of speaking, grab their lines of thoughts. Are you together? Are you with me? So more like I was stealing ideas and information from people. So him, when he speaks his English, I don't argue. I just Google meaning. I use dictionary to find the meaning. I look at the applications and I'm like, oh, okay, this is what he's trying to tell me. Then if I don't really understand it, still I would ask him. And sometimes he'll go like, Sholo Donien. I'll say, I'm sorry, I just want to know. Do you understand? I kind of feel like many Nigerians are not kind with words, especially those ones who claim to know. They are big bullies. They just bully others. So I really struggle with that. And also I have a sister, Dorcas. Oh my God, she's very, very helpful. Let me tell you about Dorcas. She speaks good English. And when it comes to Dorcas, I always look forward to her to speak. Because in my head, I'm like, come on, she'll throw one English grammar now. And she's well coordinated. So I appreciate people with this. And I love to see them in their beautiful sense of, what do you call it? I don't understand English. Don't forget that's the topic. So, but I've also come across people who understood English. And when they know, or you open up to them like, hey, I'm struggling with this, to them, they feel like it's time for them to write on you. I could remember Dorcas taught me the difference between being and being, like BEEN, BEING. In application to words, I had to ask her, Dorcas, please, what is the difference between this word? Even though I've gone online to read, it was really hard for me to understand. I don't know how. I want you guys to see how bad this is. So she now explained to me, Auntie Shola, this is what BEEN is used for in this context, and this is what BEING is used for in this context. I'm like, oh, okay. So if I say this, it means this. If I say, she said yes. So every time I now write English, I am so conscious of BEN, BEN, BEING. So that's how these things are. And also, there's another word she taught me. This and this. She taught me this as in THESE, THIS. Like, so she had to explain to me the applications, how to apply them, how to put them in words, and other things I can't really remember them. And so, personal learning for me. There's also one of my brothers. I actually saw a post on Twitter where a guy put, if a lady ever responded to him with am instead of I am, that she's brain dead or something, he can't do. Now, this is one of the mistakes you all have there makes, because there are many people who are very intelligent in some other ways, other things, but they have weaknesses. They have, in fact, I personally have seen professors who write am instead of I am. Are we together? Now, let's go back to the Bible. The Bible, most times when I read the Bible, I am oftentimes comes with am, and I'm like, hello. So let's be careful, okay? How we treat others. Now, one of my brothers here, in the name of, let me put his name here. Hey guy, Arau Sama. So he saw me sent a message to him, and I put am instead of I am, and he said, hey, Momishla, no, don't put am. It is I am. I said, oh, okay, thank you. I never discussed with him. I never told him I have issues with these things. But when he corrected me, I paid attention to, because I never took cognizance of that. Are we together? Now, let me gist you guys. When I came to Canada and I was to do my caring course, I was told I'll write an exam, math and English. I said, English again. You want to see your draw. English is here again. English primary to Canada. So when I got to the school, I wrote the test. When I saw the English, I said, hey, God of my fathers, come and help me. English again. But guess what? I passed the English. I'm like, I thought that was the end. And then they came back again and said, oh, you're still going to write the CLBC, Canadian Language Benchmark English testing. I'm like, what? Why? I'm permanent resident. They say, yeah, you still have to write it. That was 10 years ago. Guess how many times I failed that exam? 3 times. 3 times. The third time that guy was being malicious, because he didn't want me to. He saw my son and he's like, why didn't you leave the child at home? I'm like, I don't have anybody to leave the child with. Then it's like, then we schedule the appointment. I'm like, aren't these people nice? I mean, I'm new in Canada, so I'm like, can't you understand that I don't have anyone to give my child to? So I dropped my child in one of their offices with someone else, and I think it was just malicious. He just decided to fail me. But yeah, it's English. It's English. So I was so unhappy. I went back to the school. The school said, oh, Olushola, you have to go take grade 12 English, and then you have to drop your enrollment, because I've been enrolled already and I've started attending classes, but I have to pass English. Hey, I said, Jesus, I want to go to this school. God, again, Canada, I want to go to school. So the lady saw how sad I looked. She now said, okay, the school will pay for this one time for you. You should go try it again, which is the 4th time. And guess what? When the test was over, I had 7788, which was listening 8, speaking 8, writing 7, which one again? Writing, listening, English, and I can't remember the 4th one. Anyways, it was 7788. And I'm like, whoa, I passed. And that was how I passed. And then while I was in school, it became another struggle. I don't understand the lecturer. It's like she's just rapping. Kilos, so I can't hear nothing. So after school, I just sit back at school for 2 hours. I studied, I summarized the chapter, the subject topic for that day. I put them out. I put in my own word, in my own understanding, I summarized them. And then when I get home, I memorize them. I put them in my brain. So, and by the time I was done with school, I finished with A's. My lowest grade score there was 89, 88 overall scores, and my GP was 4.0. I was very proud of myself. The same girl who does not understand English. So today, before I go to today, so when I read the Bible or any book, I am very slow to understand. And that's why I don't study where a lot of people are. It has to be a very quiet space where people are not. I'm just by myself. So I can read one chapter like a couple of times just to comprehend. And with the Bible, Holy Spirit helping me, it has really improved. And I thank God for that. So I want to say to someone today, no matter how difficult a situation is or might be, please be humble to learn. Keep pushing as little as you can. Do not depend on your environment, because you might just be missing out. Your environment might not support you as much as you will support yourself. It has to come from the inside. Like, I had a dream to become a medical doctor. But I'll tell you, my struggle with English language crippled that desire. Anytime I try to think about school, I'm like, English. But don't give up on yourself, okay? So think that they can put down an image, put the names, like a pictorial view. I would sleep and I would remember. If I look at each part, I can tell you what is there. But despite that, my lack of comprehending English affected me so much. So I just want to tell you, please be humble. Look at yourself and don't give up on whatever you think it is, that one thing that you're struggling with and you feel your environment don't understand. You think people cannot reason with you. They can't even help you. You're going to have to help yourself. appreciate people who correct you, even if it's maliciously. I just give us a lot of examples as to how people correct me, even if it's maliciously or they try to just bump into your face. I've had people that when I'm talking to other people, they will subtly correct my English in my ears. Or even my sister Doka, sometimes when I'm talking, she types and just texts me, and she's like, that was the wrong word. And I'm like, okay, thank you. So, because she wants to help me, don't be too big to allow people to help you. It might be as little as your kids. My children sometimes correct my English, and I'm happy they do. They can, because it's another learning curve for me. You understand? So, I am very intentional to make my weakness known to people and to also bow to me. You understand? So I'm still having a hard time comprehending English. Do you get it? Or putting words together. But I can tell you that I am better than 1 year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And I believe that it's going to keep getting better. So I just want to beg you, please don't give up on yourself. That mountain can be subdued. And don't define your life journey based on that. Allow God to lead your path, okay? And hey, I'm sure you enjoyed this gist. If you do, come on, leave a like. I leave yes I do the comment section. Thank you guys and have a good week. God bless you all. Bye.